What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Jenks Snarer podcast. It is officially week 5, meaning we are 1 month into the NFL season. The first quarter is done. At this point, we kind of have a feel who's good, kind of have a feel who's bad, but just like that, it's probably going to end up switching on us. But we got a good episode for you guys. We're going to be breaking down week 5, giving our predictions, and at the end, a little fantasy recap of our league. Let's get into it.
Welcome to the Jenks and the Hammer podcast. Bringing you the latest NFL news and insights from the perspectives of two die-hard fans. So sit back, relax, and get ready for some football talk with Jenks and the Hammer.
And here we go!
All right, guys, getting right into the week 5 picks. So far this season, I was starting off hot. I was doing really well. All my weeks were doing well. And then the last couple weeks, I stuttered out a little, or slowed down a little bit. Hammer actually recently just took the lead. He's at 43-21, 2 games above me. I'm at 41-23, both solid. But as I said, Hammer's above 500 still, or double 500. I mean, so he's at double his losses and wins. So the guy's making good picks. My underdogs aren't
Bucks, baby. Bucks over Saints last week hit.
And the worst part about it was it wasn't even a serious pick. If you watched the episode,
It was a serious pick.
He made the pick. He knew he was going to pick the Saints. I said something bad about the Packers, and he switch it up.
For all the day one Jenks Snarer podcast listeners, everyone knows I picked the Bucks pretty high doing the preseason rankings. Everyone knows that. Everyone knows that.
Last week though, it was a spite
people come
pick.
up to me on the street and they're like, "You picked the Bucks, right?" I was like, "Yeah."
Yeah. Whenever people see Hammer in public, they instantly recognize him. He's just that recognizable of a guy. Yeah. Anyways, this week is a little bit rough for games, other than until you get to the prime time. No, there's nothing that stands off right off the bat. So Thursday night football tomorrow, it's kind of back to last year's Thursday night football games. It's the Bears versus the Commanders, and not a great game. The Bears have found ways to look miserable in every single game this year, whether that be just looking terrible on offense, whether that's looking bad on defense. And now you have a game where you look good on both sides of the ball. Then you get to the second half and you choke a 21-point lead versus the Broncos. So the Bears are in a rough spot. I truly do think they're just tanking. They're in tank mode. That's good for them. They should. If you get Caleb Williams and Marvin Harrison Jr. next year, you're kind of set. You should be set, at least, depending on your coaches, everything like that. The Commanders-wise, good game last week. They played the Eagles well, and Sam Howell drove down the field, 2-minute drive, tied it up, and then Ron Rivera kind of made that iffy decision to kick the PAT versus a better team and force it into overtime versus going for 2 and possibly getting that win. So overall, it's not a terrible decision, but it ended up biting them in the ass, and Commanders lost. So I got the Commanders winning this game. I think Sam Howell's on a roll. They're finding their click. They're clicking on offense with Eric Bieniemy. So I think the Commanders win.
Yeah, I think the Commanders win too, but before that, I don't think the Bears are in tank mode yet. I think they still, as an organization, believe they could get something positive out of this season, like continue to work on Fields. I know from the outside it seems impossible, but just like from them and how they're playing and stuff, I don't know. But
honestly, though, if they try to win a few games, it's just going to disappoint fans.
Yeah,
you win a couple games, you're not going.
It's going to hurt them, but a couple more weeks until they go full tank mode. But yeah, I got the Commanders here to just better overall team, and it's in DC, baby. Home crowd's going to be electric.
Yeah, FedEx Field. Now that Dan Snyder's gone, they're trying to pack the house. The literal sewer of a stadium at points. So we're going across the pond now for the next game. We got another London game this week. The Jaguars might as well be their home stadium at this point. 2 weeks in a row they've been playing there, and Jaguars are looking to relocate. Who knows? Maybe they cross the pond permanently. So the Buffalo Bills are crossing the pond as well and taking on the Jaguars in London. So Bills, they just crushed the Dolphins after a 70-point victory for the Dolphins. They came in and lost by 28, I believe, 48-20. And it was just a mauling the whole game. Tua didn't have a bad game. He really didn't, but that Bills offense and defense is just ridiculous on both sides of the ball. You could not stop them. So the Bills, they crushed. Then you have a team like the Jaguars who, they look all right. They kind of bounced back a little bit. They're at 2-2 now, I believe. And that's kind of a team that, they have the weapons there. They have the quarterback, Trevor Lawrence. It's just they haven't clicked yet. And last week they kind of started. They had a pick 6 on Desmond Ridder, and then their offense started to do a little bit better. but overall, I'm still not extremely excited about them. I'm not. Like, we came into the season, we were expecting more from them, in my opinion. So I got the Bills beating them here in London, and my parents are going to be at that game actually. So hopefully they get a few videos for us and send them our way. We'll put them up next episode.
It's pretty cool. Yeah, I got the Bills too here winning. They're playing good football since week one after that tough loss to Zach Wilson on Monday night. But they're playing good football. They're trending up. Jags are trending up too. They bounced back last week with a big win in London. I think this is gonna be a good game, 9:30 in the morning, which will be fun and exciting to wake up to. I think it's gonna be a good game, close game. But I got Buffalo pulling it out.
Yeah, just like I said last week, it's always great to eat a bowl of cereal while watching football. Hammer, what's your favorite go-to cereal? Real quick.
I don't have cereal.
Come on, you gotta
Oatmeal.
have us. There's gotta be us cereal you like, man. Come on, Cinnamon Toast Crunch. CTC, hit him with it. CTC. CTC. Come on. Cinnamon Toast Crunch. You know you like it. You know you like it, Hammer.
Raisin Brand.
Oh my God. See, this guy's a meathead. Can't enjoy
Oh,
sugar. Can't enjoy sugar.
it says
Anyways,
sugar on it. What are you talking about?
barely any. It's just raisins. Raisins are the sweet stuff in that. Anyways,
Okay.
I digress. We'll go into the Foul Clowns next game. Falcons versus the Houston Texans. Houston Texans on a roll. CJ Stroud looks to be like the franchise quarterback.
Looking good. Who called it? Who called it? Who called it?
Okay, before we get into that, I said
Maybe you. Maybe we gotta go
yeah,
back.
I said that
called
the
it, though.
Texans were actually I said the Texans actually might finish second in their division.
Yeah,
I said that a
you
long
said
time
the
ago.
Texans were gonna be good. I didn't know the Texans were gonna be good, but I knew CJ Stroud
I
was gonna
was
be good.
I said like 7 wins as like their ceiling, but who knows? I mean, right now they might perform more than that. They have a shot at winning this division if they keep
Yeah,
balling out like they are. So
they can
I'm
win it.
gonna go with Texans here. That's all I'm gonna say. I don't like the Falcons. Desmond Ritter's not gonna win games for them. If they're able to stop the run game of Bijan Robinson and Tyler Algier, then that's a win for the Texans. So
Yeah, I got the Texans too. They're playing hot. They're playing with confidence. CJ Stroud. Even when you hear him talk in the press conferences, like dude's a leader. Uh, you can feel the confidence that he has. You know what I mean? He's got those guys playing hard, playing well. I got Nico Collins as my flex in fantasy. Guy's been going
lucky.
off with 36 points last week. Um, I thought Atlanta was going to be kind of good after the first 2 weeks, but that's the NFL. Just like that, 2 weeks later, you could be, saying, this is the worst team in their division. You know what I mean? So it switched just like that. And just like with Houston, I don't think a lot of people expected Houston to be something. Now everyone's like, hey, Houston might win the division. I don't know. CJ Stroud might win Rookie of the Year. You know what I mean? It's just so
Texans are back.
when he
I
doesn't
don't
have
know
a
if
lot
they're
of talent around him, but he's making them look good. Yeah, I got Houston here too.
Yeah, and it's a good pick. I just don't. I'm not confident in the Falcons at all, and I
No.
never will be. So, and anyways, next game we got two big cats going against each other. We got the Panthers versus the Lions. I should say the Panthers are a smaller cat right now because they can't do squat. Bryce Young.
Panthers more like a pussycat.
Oh my God. Anyways, so the Panthers, they're 0-4. The trade's looking pretty rough. Like, if they miss CJ Stroud, then you miss Jalen Carter. I mean, I don't see them picking either of those guys, but then you also miss possibly next year. You miss out on Caleb Williams, and you just lost DJ Moore.
Nah, I don't know. I think Bryce Young's going to be good. It's going to take him a little.
It's going to take a little bit.
It's going to take him a little bit to develop, and he doesn't have the most talent around him. But apparently, the Panthers is seeking to trade for wide receiver one to give him some help. But it sucks that they're not going to have the draft pick for next year because it looks like that pick's going to be top 5, top 10.
Yeah,
So
I feel like that. And it's going to hurt them, in the long run. And I feel like, yeah, you get a receiver for him, and it helps a little bit, but their O-line's still pretty damn rough. Their defense is all right. Like, their defense is good. They got young guys
some young talent. Yeah.
But I'm not confident in that offense, and I don't think Bryce Young, with his size,
No, not yet.
He hasn't hit it yet, and obviously going to take time, but we'll see in the future if he's able to do that. And the Lions, they're clicking right now. Offense is at all-time high. Hammer saw that last week, and now they have Jameson Williams back. Lions are winning this game, and I think a blowout.
Yep, I got Lions too.
Yeah, and that's all I really got to say about that game.
Go Panthers, though. Go Panthers.
Yeah, you'll never cheer on the Lions like the Falcons, but at least the Lions are actually decent. The Titans, Colts, next game. So, Indianapolis right now. Indianapolis is playing pretty damn well. Anthony Richardson's looking like a stud. He clicked right away.
Tennessee's playing good too.
Tennessee's playing all right.
I
You
don't
know,
I don't
Derrick
think I
Henry.
don't think a lot of people picked them over Cincinnati last week, but they pulled it out
Yeah. Yeah, and
big
they're
time.
actually like the Derrick Henry train is officially back. Started
Yeah,
off, Derrick
it's
Henry
off.
was kinda
Yeah,
kinda slow off the gate or out the gates. Against the Saints, he looked all right, but then the Saints started stopping him towards the end of that game. Then the second game, he didn't do anything. Third game or second game, he did something, and the third game, I think he was shut down. And then the fourth game is when he came alive again. So Colts, though, Anthony Richardson's balling out, and you also have Michael Pittman, Josh Downs. You have a couple weapons. Jonathan Taylor's coming back. Hopefully, that relationship is mended. We'll see. And we'll see if Jonathan Taylor is able to bring that team a huge run game. And if that's able to happen, I think the Colts are going to be a good team in this division. I think the
yeah,
Colts win this game. I got the Colts here.
yeah. This is a really good game. I could see it going 50-50. Um, Jonathan Taylor's a good chance he's going to be back. I don't really know what the workload's going to look like just because he's returning this week. I know he hasn't had an injury or anything, but I think they probably ease him in. I don't think he gets 20 plus carries like he's used to. Um, I have him on my bench in fantasy. He was on my IR spot, so now he's moving up. That's big time. I just traded for Anthony Richardson too as for my QBs.
Huge.
So I'm like hopping on the Colts train. They're playing good football and they're at home. I'm gonna take the Colts to beat Tennessee.
Yeah, we gotta.
I
Yeah,
have to.
and I
My
know
fantasy QB. He's gotta.
yeah,
I gotta pick him.
and like I said before this episode, like we don't have these games aren't the best. They're kind of one-sided matchups. So
Yeah.
we do have the same picks. It's gonna switch up here towards the end. But like I said, the games aren't that great yet. Another game that's honestly just mediocre at best is probably gonna be another blowout for the Dolphins. Dolphins Giants. And if you watch Monday Night Football, you saw Daniel Jones is dead. He's dead in the backfield every single play. Like 11 sacks is ridiculous. So their O-line, until it gets fixed, they're not winning a game. And Saquon Barkley
Tough.
is coming back, I think, this game, but he's not 100%. Like, I don't think he's going to be 100%. So I'm going to go Dolphins here. That's all I'm going to say. I think the Dolphins offense and defense is too much
Yeah.
for the Giants.
Dolphins over here too. Not much to say.
Yeah, it's an easy, solid pick. And then two new cities going together, New Orleans versus New England Patriots. This game for Saints fans last week was
Did you say
probably
two new cities?
two new cities, New Orleans, New England. Yeah, get past that. I didn't know
Wow,
how
look
to
at
word it.
that was
A little cheesy, but
a little
anyways.
cringe. That was a little weird. All right, keep going.
Anyways, New Orleans. Last week, Saints fans' hopes going up after that kind of train wreck of a game versus the Packers where everything fell apart at the second half. You come into the game, it's Baker Mayfield and the Bucks. They come and stand on your home logo in your home stadium. You think you're going to come out and smack them in the mouth. They came out, did the exact opposite. Bucks smacked us in the mouth, batted us around the whole game. It was not pretty. Ugliest game I've watched as a Saints fan in a long time. Everyone was calling for Pete Carmichael's job, and he's still here. So Dennis Allen comes in, says, we're not going to change play callers, and we'll see if that works for him. If it doesn't, I think Dennis Allen's on his way out, and by the end of the season, if he's here the whole way. So I think the Saints win this game, but purely because New England Patriots right now are just not functioning at all on offense. They're worse than the Saints, actually, and their defense is still pretty good, but they're out Matthew Judon and Christian Gonzalez. They just traded for J.C. Jackson, but I don't think that's as huge as an impact as Christian Gonzalez was for them.
Yeah, this game's, I don't know. I mean, the more I look at it, the more I don't know which way to go. It's 50-50, another game. But I don't know. I think New England's gonna have Christian Gonzalez is out for the season. Their first round draft pick. I think Judon's going to be out too for this game.
Yeah, he's out for the season.
Two big losses for New England.
A few games.
Their offense does not look good. Mac Jones does not look good. I think this is going to be a very ugly game. This is going to be
it's not a pretty game.
This is going to be a 14-10, 14-9 type of game right here. But I'm going to go New Orleans just because they have more talent. They're more healthy right now.
Yeah,
so I'm going to take New Orleans.
You just got to hope that the offense finds a way to click.
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to say. Next game, same situation here for the Steelers. You know, the Steelers offense looks awful. They have the weapons. They have everything they need to succeed, but Matt Canada is just awful. He's an awful offensive coordinator. Him and Pete Carmichael are battling it out for worst offensive coordinator in the league right now.
I mean, can you imagine that? They didn't even get past the 50-yard line.
I'm surprised he has a job. I don't get it. I don't know how he still has a job, but here he is. He's powering through. So I got the Ravens here easily. I'm not saying anything more.
Not
Ravens gonna win
easily.
this
This
game.
could be a close game. It always is
I don't
between these
think.
two teams.
I don't know. I just don't trust. I don't
It'll
trust
be a
that
close
offense to
game.
make it a close game. I
Yeah, but
don't. And the
I
Ravens defense
trust the
is playing well.
Steelers defense though. Steelers
But
defense will come out
I
to play.
trust them. I said that last week against the Texans.
Yeah,
Didn't work
but
out. So
it's a little different when it's division and when it's the Ravens too.
Ravens came out and blew out the. I think didn't they play the Browns last week?
Forget that.
They blew them out.
But this is the division game right here. It's
Yeah,
always
but
has been.
I think the
Ravens
Ravens come out.
Steelers. I this is a
It's
weird
tough.
pick.
It's tough to say that,
This
but
is
I just think
weird just because no, it's not gonna be a blowout. It's either way, it's gonna be a close game. Um, this is tough to say. Part of me feels like the Steelers because the Steelers are just one of those teams that they could just come out, defeat all the odds, and just win the game at home. Big division game. They could. I don't know, but then I look at their QB is, and it's gonna be Mitch, and
be decisive, Hammer. Take lead. Come on, take lead.
nah, I'm gonna go. I don't know. I got a close friend who's a Steelers fan, so it's tough. But I'm gonna say a very close game, but I'm gonna say the Ravens win it.
Yeah, I think that's the
Close
choice
game
you
though.
gotta
It's
go
gonna be a
here.
close game. Close game.
Now we get into the interesting games here. These are the games where it starts to get a little bit interesting here. Next
Little bit.
game,
Not really.
Bengals, Cardinals. Two teams that are 1-3. Where if you said that the Bengals were 1-3 at this point, everyone's gonna look at you like you're crazy. No one expected this. Joe Burrow's been playing every single game. If someone said Joe Burrow was out, I think you could possibly say that, but he's been in every game. I think maybe they should think about shutting him down because he's going to get hurt in that with that O-line that they have right now. Then you have on the other side Arizona Cardinals, who
They're playing
right
tough.
now they're playing scrappy. Every
Yeah.
single game, they came in with the 49ers. They looked solid. They played
They hung
well.
with them. They hung with them for 3 quarters.
Yeah, they
Three
played
and a half.
well against the Giants, and they should have beat the Giants, and they kind of choked a little bit. And then the same with the Commanders. They played well, choked. But I'm going to go Cardinals here. It's my underdog pick of the week right here. I'm going to go Cardinals beating the Bengals. I think Bengals go to 1-4, and I think they might shut down Joe Burrow after this game, depending on his health and performance on the offensive side of the ball this week.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. Yeah, I'm gonna go Bengals. I'm gonna go Bengals.
Finally,
If they
pick.
lose, this is probably my last time I'm picking them for the rest of the season because I've been picking them every week, and that's where my losses come from. So I'm gonna go Cincinnati one more week, week 5. If they blow this one, I'm off the Cincinnati train. If you guys didn't know, if you guys watched the preseason predictions, I had Joe Burrow winning MVP. I had
Not
Jamar
looking high.
Chase being up there for Offensive Player of the Year. I had the Bengals going to the Super Bowl and losing, but I'm going to the Super Bowl. So I was very high in Cincinnati coming in. I think if they lose this one, this is the last week I'm picking them. So I'm going to go Cincinnati to save the season. Right, I'm going to go Cincinnati.
Yeah, I mean, I respect it, but I can't do it right now with their offensive performance. Anyways, next game, if anyone had the Rams looking as good as they do right now without Cooper Kupp, you'd also be called crazy. They also got rid of Cam Akers. They have a new running back, Kyron Williams, who's balling out. He's looking good. And then you look at the other side, you got the Eagles, who right now they look good. They're still 4-0, but there's something weird going on when I watch when I watch their games. Jalen Hurts isn't looking as high caliber as he did last year. He's still looking pretty damn good. Like don't get me wrong, he's still looking like a top 10 quarterback easily, but he's not like the explosive plays aren't as insane. Like last week, they did have a few with AJ Brown.
The offense is just not the same. It's not the same.
It's just not clicking as well. Like, yeah, they have the brotherly shove or the tush push, whatever you want to call it, but they're not looking as insane as they did last year. They're not looking like world breakers like they did last year. So this game could be considered another underdog pick of the week. I'm going to go the Rams here versus the Eagles. Cooper Kupp might be back for this game, and Puka Nacua is playing lights out, and I think Matthew Stafford's playing well as himself. So I'm going to go Rams here at home in Los Angeles.
I like to pick. I'm going Rams too. This is my underdog pick of the week.
Come on, man. You're ruining my flow.
This is my underdog pick of the week.
I like it.
I don't know. Philly just, they don't, I mean, are they good? Yes, they're good. But they're not the same. They're not what they not what they were last year defensively, run the ball wise, explosive play wise. I don't know. In LA, not that matters because it's probably gonna be a Philly home game too. You know what I mean? That doesn't matter. I don't know. The Rams are just playing like Arizona. I mean, I think a lot of people didn't have a lot of expectations for neither of these teams, and they're just coming out and playing scrappy. So I mean, I don't know. A Cooper Kupp could be back. I don't know. Not this week. Cooper,
You said I don't know like 20 times. Be confident, Hammer. Be confident in your picks.
these picks are weird, man. I'm gonna Rams. All right, I'm gonna shut up. I'm going Rams. Underdog pick of the week. I don't
I
know. I
like
don't
it.
know. I'm going Rams.
I like it though. I like the pick. And then another game, Jets Broncos. This is kind of like a very interesting game here. So you have the Broncos, whose defense has looked awful the last 4 games, but then the second half of the last game against the Bears, they shut them down. So yeah, I think the Broncos could have turned it around. I think Sean Payton, he cut his sleeves off on the sideline. He meant business. I think Sean Payton's gonna have him turning it around. And then you got the Jets out here, whose offense looked all right against the Chiefs, but I think Zach
Zach,
Wilson. I think Zach Wilson takes a step back. I don't think he's going to keep it up. I'm going to go Broncos here. Could be also considered another underdog. Everyone's picking the Jets here this week because the Broncos defense has not been good. But I think the Broncos offense is playing well enough to win this game, and I think they're going to win.
yeah, I'm taking the Jets. Screw Sean Payton. Nathaniel Hackett's gonna go all over him this game. If you guys don't know,
Very
Sean Payton
exciting,
had
yeah.
some comments about Nathaniel Hackett, the Jets OC, who was the Broncos head coach last year. A little disrespectful, and I think that's coming back to bite him because him and the
It's not
Broncos
looked good.
have not been good.
Not been
But
pretty.
I think this is the final dagger. I think the Jets win. Hackett, see you later, Sean Payton, loser. But I don't know. The Jets look good Sunday night against the Chiefs, who
Yeah.
first class team, organization, all that. Zach Wilson was playing with confidence. Love to see it. I think it continues here, especially when all the players come together and they're playing for their coach because they know this is a little bit bigger too. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna go with the Jets.
I mean, I don't mind it. It's a weird game. Definitely a weird game to pick. I think it's a kind of a coin flip here because you have one side, you have the Jets who don't have the best offense but have a good defense, and you have the Broncos on the other who have a solid offense and a very bad defense. So this game's kind of a coin flip,
Yeah.
but we'll move on from that. We got the Chiefs and Vikings. Vikings are 1-3. They've looked pretty damn bad. They just look weird. They look off on the both sides of the ball at times. Their offense though, Justin Jefferson, like that's all you have to say. They have Justin Jefferson. They have TJ Hawkinson. They also have Jordan Addison now as well. So they have players that can get the ball and score touchdowns. They have that. But right now, their defense doesn't look good, and their coaching is kind of it's all right. It's not the best, not the worst, but they just don't look like themselves from last season. And last season, they had 11 wins from one-score games, and this year they're kind of flipping it around. They're having those losses. So I think Kansas City wins this game. I think Patrick Mahomes bounces back from his 2-pick game last week, and Travis Kelce and the Swifties are 3-0 after this week.
Yeah, I'm going Kansas City. Screw the Vikings.
Period. Packers fan. That's all you got to say. Next game, this is going to be our game of the week, is actually going to be the Cowboys versus the 49ers. It's probably the best game of the year so far, and it's what everyone's looking forward to this week. So far, Sunday Night Football, it's been Carrie Underwood's been the best part of the night every week. So been nothing crazy, but this week, Carrie Underwood move over. It's going to be Cowboys 49ers. It's what we care about. I'm going to go, I believe I'm going to pick the 49ers here, but after this segment, we're going to actually do a little bit of a longer segment breaking down this game even more.
I'm going to go San Fran too. My dad's a San Fran fan. They just look like the better team. The San Fran just plays at a different speed than everyone else. And yeah, I just don't trust Dak against this defense. So I'm going to go San Fran. But I think it's going to be very similar to San Fran's last game against Arizona. I think this is going to be a close game up until fourth quarter, midway through the fourth quarter. I think Niners going to pull away with it.
All right, I like it. And yeah, like I said, we'll do a deeper dive right after this, kind of like a 5 to 10 minute segment, just kind of breaking down both teams and what we think. Now moving into Monday Night Football, Hammer, your Packers. I'm going to go Packers here. I think McDaniels is just an awful head coach. He choked against the Chargers last week, deciding to pass the ball at the 4-yard line on first down instead of just running the ball. You have a rookie quarterback in, and you're going to pass the ball on first and goal instead of just running the ball with Josh Jacobs, who's been balling out all game. I think it was a ridiculous decision, and it bit him in the ass, and the Raiders ended up losing. So I'm going to go Packers.
Yep.
Who also have just one last thing. I think Aaron Jones also gets more included this week, and I think that's going to help the Packers as well.
Yeah, big time. Aaron Jones and Christian Watson were limited on Thursday night, so they're going to be full go. Come Monday night, yep, of course, I got the Packers here. Go Pack, go. I think this is a bounce back week. Monday Night Football, you've had 10, 11 days to prepare for this team because they play
Mhm.
Thursday night. And it's Monday night game. After you got a bye week, you're going to get even more healthier. They're going to have a lot of guys returning, including Jair Alexander, Elton Jenkins on the offensive line. So you getting those guys back, getting Christian Watson, Aaron Jones back 100%. I think that's going to be huge. And, this is a very winnable opponent. Josh Jacobs, good back. He has not been running that good this year. A year ago, he was the league's leading rusher, and the Packers struggle in run defense. This year, he hasn't been doing too good. So, Green Bay, you got to shut him down. Make sure you shut them down, and then if anyone's gonna beat you, let Jimmy G beat you. Jair and Devontae, that's gonna be must-see TV popcorn. You're gonna get to see this matchup head-to-head live. They've been going at each other for years at practice, so we finally get to see on this big stage. That's pretty exciting. But I think Green Bay's gonna win this game. I think they're gonna win by 10 points. They're the better team. They're gonna be healthy, and yeah, prime time before you have a nice week off. I think they're gonna get after it.
Yeah, I think the only shot the Raiders have is Josh Jacobs. If they're able to run the ball with him, they have maybe a chance to make it a close game. But I think all in all, I think the Packers win. So that's going to do it for our actual picks of the week. And then we're going to get right into our game of the week segment right after this. And then we'll do our fantasy segment as usual, breaking down our wins, losses from this week's fantasy games. All right, guys, getting right into our game of the week segment. I think this is a huge game for the NFL season so far. This is probably, I'd say, third best team in the NFC versus the first best team in the NFC. And you look at it, and this could be a very huge game for playoff standings, depending on the 49ers' performance the rest of the season, and as well as the Cowboys' performance the rest of the season. The Cowboys have a tough schedule. I don't know the 49ers' schedule right off the top of my head, but the Cowboys have a couple games against the Eagles left. Then you also have a game against the Dolphins, I believe, the Bills, and the Lions as well. So a few more tough games for them throughout the season that could be huge losses if they continue on a good path. And then if they lose this game, you kind of lose your shot at number one in the NFC, depending on how the 49ers perform the rest of the season. So right off the bat, you got Trayvon Diggs missing for the Cowboys, which is huge. Then you have on the offensive side of the ball, they're doing pretty damn well. Like Dak Prescott, he's not looking absolutely insane. Dak Prescott is probably top 10 quarterback, but he's not top 5. He looks solid. He has 908 passing yards so far, and he's done nothing terribly wrong other than that one game where they lost against the Cardinals where he didn't look like himself, and then they had a couple turnovers, and the Cardinals ended up winning. But like we said, the Cardinals are a scrappy team. They've been playing everyone well. That's kind of who they are this year. And then you look at the Cowboys defense, who's forced multiple touchdown games in, I think, 2 games this year. I think they have 2 multi-touchdown games on the defensive side of the ball / special teams. I'll include them in there. And their defense with Michael Parsons looks amazing. Their defensive line is getting the pressure every single week. And right now, as long as you're able to get pressure on the quarterbacks are looking very, very, very very, very, very scared in the pocket. So I think the Cowboys play well against the 49ers in this game, but I'm not huge on them. I'm really not. I think Brock Purdy is still undefeated for the 49ers. I think he's going to continue that this week.
Yeah, me too. I'm picking the 49ers. And the 49ers end, man, they're rolling. They are rolling. They've scored at least 30 points in all of their games. Beat the Steelers 30-7. They beat the Rams 30-23. They beat the Giants 30-12. Then they beat Arizona 35-16. Like, they're rolling offensively. Brock Purdy's already got 1,000 yards passing. Christian McCaffrey's got 460 yards rushing. Ayuk's got 320 in the air. Like, McCaffrey is playing at an elite level. He's putting himself in the MVP conversation last week with a 4-touchdown game.
Yeah,
like,
little running back.
He's good, man. He is good. He breaks a lot of tackles. He breaks a lot of tackles. He does it in different ways. He can run past you. He can stiff arm you. He can jump over you. We all know he's a good receiver out of the backfields. And for the most part, the Niners are healthy. I know Debo's got a little banged up. He's a little limited, but I think he's going to give it a go this Sunday. I mean, you got it when the Cowboys are coming to town, right? But, I mean, Niners, I think this would be the toughest game they have all all season. They got the Cowboys, then they got the Browns. Browns would be a little tough, but later in the season they got a tough stretch with Seattle, Eagles, and then Seattle again. But with that being said, I still feel like this is the toughest opponent San Fran's going to play all year. It's going to be a good matchup, but just and Dallas's defense is good. San Fran's got too many weapons all over
And they
the
have a
place,
good defense too.
and they
Like,
have the best offensive mind in the league right now. You know what I mean? It's too much firepower, and Dallas, they just, with Diggs going out, you know what I mean, losing some guys, that doesn't help. You know what I mean? When you have this much firepower. So I got to take San Fran. I think it's going to be a close game, like we said, up until the fourth quarter. Then I think the Niners could pull away. But I think this comes down to, like, yes, San Fran has more firepower, but I think you watch the games, San Fran plays at a different speed. And, like, I hate to say it, my dad's a 49ers fan, and he's always, talking smack to me and my soft Packers, but like the San Fran, like they play tough. They play tough. They play
they
physical.
tire teams out too. Yeah.
Yeah, they do. And Sunday night their house. I like San Fran. I like San Fran.
Yeah, and like you said, like they have that offensive side, and their defense is also good as well. So
Yeah,
it's
the
like
defense is
it's
just
both sides of the ball are just pure dominance. So
yeah,
that's all you need for a team. And against the Cowboys, whose offense is a little bit weaker in comparison to them,
yeah,
and their defense is missing a corner, I think their passing game is going to be strong. And Kyle Shanahan's putting Brock Purdy in chances where he's able to succeed the best every single week. He might not be the most insane talented quarterback in the league, but he's putting him
yeah.
in the chance every single game. He's going to have a chance to throw touchdowns, and then you also have Christian McCaffrey for him as that kind of emergency valve or backup, or not backup, but just release player on a routes for him, and you give the ball to McCaffrey in the backfield, even if it's like just a dump pass.
Yeah,
He's
every
still
time
getting like
every
5
time
yards.
McCaffrey touches the ball, you hold your breath for a second because you're
Yeah.
like, this dude could take it to the house. But every time he touches the ball, it's 5-6 yards every single time.
Yeah,
And Niners don't have the best offensive line. They don't.
Mhm.
They got Trent Williams. We know he's a
It's
stud.
solid.
He's a Hall of Famer. But besides that, they don't have the best offensive line. But it's schemed up so well that it doesn't matter. And they just do their job. No one's a superstar in that offensive line except for Williams. But the guys just do their job, and that's all they need to do against Dallas because those skill guys are going to make them right.
Mhm. And if anyone told me that Christian McCaffrey was going to come this far, like to the 49ers after being on the Panthers for so many years with his injuries, everything like that. And my dad also shared something crazy that I completely forgot because we weren't incredibly old when Christian McCaffrey entered the league. He benched 10 reps when he was in the combine, and it kind of caused him not to fall very far, but a little bit of a slip. And if you told me that guy was going to come in, be the best running back in the league, and just purely dominate, like, I don't know if I'd tell you he's going to be better than a lot of all the running backs in the league, but he's just looked absolutely ridiculous. Bell cow back.
He only did 10 reps on bench.
Yeah, 10 reps, Hammer. How many reps can you do?
More than
What?
that.
20? You can do
More than
20?
that. Something like that. Yeah, that's pretty crazy. I didn't know
Yeah,
he did that few.
yeah. So
Not that it
anyways,
matters that
it
much. I
doesn't
mean,
really. It's a
you're
running,
running back, but still,
but
that's
it's
interesting.
something crazy.
Because I mean, you look at McCaffrey, dude's jacked.
He looks huge now, so
He's
I wonder how
huge.
many he probably can do a solid 25 now if you told him to. Guys looks
So,
jacked, but
yeah.
I think as long as he's able to stay healthy, knock on wood, hopefully he does. I think he balls out, and he has a shot at winning MVP. So it'd be cool to see a running back win
Does.
MVP versus a quarterback, something like that.
Yeah, big time.
All right, guys, getting right into our fantasy breakdown of the week. We have our fantasy league, and we love it. We love talking with our subscribers and the people that we met in getting into this league, everything like that. And the league's been doing really well so far. That everyone's been interacting with each other. We've been talking to each other on the message board, everything like that. And we still have 2 4-0 teams, actually. So clubs didn't fit Thomas Brown and Rainbow Herbert with Nicholas Lewis. So 2 guys that, once again, are still undefeated. So good for them. I mean, if you told me that someone would have had 560 points for, I would have been saying your line, but he's balling out. So good for you, Thomas. And then the other winning teams are just joshing with Forrest. Hammer actually 2-win streak as well. And then Amateur Box
3-1.
Ethan another win. And then the Washington Red Wolves. So Miranda Culver, you won as well. So we have a good amount of teams with wins now. We have one person that is 0-4. Unfortunately, Aiden Davis, 0-4, and then we have 4 1-3 teams, and I am one of them. So if you told me that my team was going to be 1-3 right off the bat, I would say you're lying. Like Hammer and I, we were talking after the draft, and I was like, my team's pretty solid. I'm feeling confident about it. Like
I thought his team was better than mine. I didn't like my team.
I mean, I have Garrett but here's the thing. Garrett Wilson was one of my star running receivers when the league started. And once Aaron Rodgers got hurt, his stock just plummeted. So it was kind of a big hit for me. I got Saquon as well, who was injured, and Darren Waller, who's done nothing. But I do have Sam Laporta. So hopefully my team's able to turn it around. We'll see. But as usual, it's a great week in fantasy, and I look forward to the rest of the season with everyone in it.
Yeah, and shout out to Paul. He went to the London game. The Falcons.
He did, yeah.
Yep, the Falcons and the Jags. He went to the game. We might have to have him on the pod to talk about his experience. But overall, he said he had a good time. But too bad the Falcons blew to not make it a good game. But he said it was a good time. Met good people. It was a game where in London where two teams were playing, but he said he saw every team's jersey inside the stadium. So that's pretty cool, pretty neat. We hope he had a good time. It sounds like he did. So maybe we're gonna have to have him on the pod pretty soon to talk about his experience going to an NFL game in London. That would be pretty cool to hear from. Get more in depth to hear about that. But with that being said, that's gonna do it for us. Good luck in fantasy this week. Good luck to all your teams, unless you're a Raiders fan or a Patriots fan. We hope you guys lose, have a bad weekend, and have a loser Monday. Packers play Monday night. Go Pack Go. I'm going to be having a victory Tuesday, so that's pretty cool. Hopefully, but enjoy you guys' weekends. Jenks, anything?
No, just going to say, Pete Carmichael, you better pray to God you coach a good game, because if you don't, Saints fans are going to be calling for your ass every single day the rest of the season. So
you heard him. You heard the man. All right, with that being said, make sure to follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at Jenks and Hammer Pod. You can listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube at Jenks and the Hammer Podcast. If you watch on YouTube, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next Thursday.
See you guys.
Thank you for tuning in to the Jenks and the Hammer Podcast. Remember to leave a review and follow all of our social media pages at Jenks Hammer Pod for more content. Until next time, who dat? And go Pack Go!